camera and I asked him again. And I said, Dad, how are you doing? And he said, I'm good. And it was faint, but I clearly understood the words, and he wanted me to know that he was doing well. Um, he passed 1 month ago today, 2:24 p.m. We've gotten many calls about emergencies and different things that were happening over the last 4 years. And I knew that that call was coming, but there's no preparation for when that comes. It was very difficult. And I remember I called my sister and I called my mom, and it was very hard on all of us. And my sister was out of town, she was traveling. And me and my mom went into the facility and we saw him. We were able to say goodbye. And for me, I was like, he held on for a long time, as long as he could. Our family was able to come and visit him multiple times from wherever they were coming from. And he received a lot of calls, and he fought the fight. He had a I'll always remember him for his fighting spirit, his positive attitude, and his confidence in himself and those around him. So a couple of things I'm just going to say to close. My dad's favorite boxer was Muhammad Ali. My dad loved Muhammad Ali. And especially when he was sick, I would sit there and watch these same old classic matches with him. Ali versus Joe Frazier and George Foreman and all that stuff. And he would just sit there laughing and laughing and laughing, listening to Ali and all this. And a strategy that Ali had was the rope-a-dope, which was that he would go into the corner of the ropes and hold up his hands, and then the other boxer would just keep punching him until he gets tired. And he coined that term rope-a-dope, because then they get tired, and then when they got tired, then he would start punching back, and then he would win the bout, or he would win the match. And I felt like my dad did the rope-a-dope on these doctors many times, because they would really look at him and tell us, he's about to go. He doesn't have much time left. He has days, he has minutes, he has weeks. They said this to us probably more than a year this was happening. And he would get out of that rehab facility and he would do his work that he was supposed to do, and he'd get back on his feet and he would start talking again, and he would, even with the walker, he would start walking again. And I was just amazed by that strength and that resilience. So I saw that in all stages of his life. I've heard it from before I was around. I know it from when I was born and on. And I saw it at the end of his life as well. So I just want to close with this verse, Isaiah 25, verse 8, which says, he will swallow up death forever, and the Lord God will wipe away tears from all faces. The rebuke of his people he will take away from all the earth, for the Lord has spoken. Amen.
All right. I just wanted to throw that up there at the beginning. Okay. Thank you, Billy. Thank you, MC. Thanks, D. Thanks, Charmed Life. Thanks, Betty. Edward. Thanks, Eddie. Cass. Since you're the only Cass on today so far, you're still Cass today. Yes. So this is my dad's shirt, by the way. My dad has quite the collection of African clothes. I remember he was trying to give them all to me at one point in time. Some of them fit, some of them didn't, some of them I just couldn't keep because there's so many of them. If there's one thing that he loved, it was clothes, and it was putting on his clothes. I actually just did a photo shoot this morning where I was wearing some of his African clothes that he likes to wear. So when it came to this birthday, everybody says the first of everything after you lose a parent is hard. the first of their birthday that happens, which would have been August 29 for him. The first, all these holidays. We haven't even reached Thanksgiving, Christmas, but even my birthday. I'm sitting here and I usually have some kind of birthday plan, and I usually have some kind of thing that I want to do special for the day. I don't have anything planned. The special part for me is not having to work, because I was like, if there's anything that I'm not going to be doing, it's doing something that makes me unhappy. So that's not going to happen tomorrow on my birthday. So I'm looking forward to that. But shout out to Ma, who suggested for me to do a Q&A on my page in relation to my birthday. This will be about an hour, probably about an hour long video, unless there's just a ton of questions. But then I did think to myself, just in case you guys don't have enough questions for me, I will just talk about my life, because I could definitely fill more than an hour worth of that. So I'm just going to start with that, and you guys can ask me questions, and I will stop as I'm going along. So I am originally from Canada. My parents, my mother is from Guyana. My father was from Ghana. So they met in the US, in Michigan, actually. They were going to a school in Michigan. They met over there, and they ended up getting married in the US. Long story short, I was born in Canada. This was the first time. They were not from Canada, and I don't think we even had really relatives, too many relatives living in Canada from then. Happy birthday, Mark. I know this is the first. I know this being the first is hitting differently. Thanks for sharing your time with us. It definitely does, but this page helps, I will say. Throwing myself into something meaningful definitely helps me a little bit. I'm behind. Love the shirt. Well, I haven't even started, and there's no questions in here yet. So I was just going into the history, and I was saying I'll stop as questions come in. If questions come in, because one thing I learned is to be prepared as if nobody's going to participate. So I was born in Canada. My sister was the first born in Canada. I guess I was the fourth. My grandmother has 4 grandchildren. I met Muhammad Ali at the town center mall. My dad actually met him a few times. He used to tell stories about in Africa, how they didn't have a TV in the village that he grew up in, and they had the radio. So all the major heavyweight fights that Ali was in, they would listen to the fight on the radio. And then when they finally got the TV, everybody would go to whatever 1 or 2 houses have the TV, and they would just crowd around the TV and watch the fight. And when my dad had his dementia, a lot of times people with dementia, they forget a lot of things, but they remember things that were really enjoyable and memorable for them. So I remember sitting down and watching the same old matches, the same old Ali matches that he watched all those years ago, and he loved them like they were brand new. And I remember watching his radio interviews and his interviews in general, Ali I'm talking about, and my dad would sit there just laughing and laughing and laughing. And it was actually kind of fun and a bonding moment, I would say, that I would have with him doing those things. So yeah, anyways, grew up in Canada. I was born like 30, 40 minutes north of Niagara Falls, Ontario, or Buffalo, whichever one you regard. But everyone says the Canadian side is the better side. I grew up near the Canadian side. And then I lived with my grandmother and grandfather for a few years. They were very instrumental to my upbringing, my grandmother and grandfather. My grandfather passed in 2009, which was what, 14 years ago now. Born in what year? 87. My grandpa passed in 2009. My grandmother is still alive. She's 88 years old. She has had some health complications in recent years, but she's still holding it together quite well for somebody of her age, and is actually, I hope to reach that age one day and still even be in the type of condition that she's in, because I know a lot of people the same age or that didn't even make it to that age, but people who did make it to that age, not in that type of condition. So after my dad came back from Africa and we moved out of my grandmother's house, he got a job about an hour and a half away from where my grandmother lived. And it was a pretty nice area. Canada is where I spent the majority of my childhood. I was there from when I was born, like I said, and I didn't officially leave Canada until I was about 16. I think I was there until I was 16, and then I came here. I'm a dual citizen now as of 5 years ago. So I have my Canadian and US citizenship, but I was in most of my early school years were in Canada. And it was a much different experience than where I am now, because a lot of you know I'm in New York. Culture shock, huge difference. The demographics of where I was growing up, there was probably, I want to say 10% of my school was Black people. And there was a lot of white people and Asians in my school. So yeah, that was my early upbringing. And then in high school, I went to a boarding school. I stayed in the boarding school for about 2 years, and then I moved to Massachusetts. Okay, why did you end up going to the States? Because my dad got a job over there after working for, 1990 to about 2000. So I think he worked about 10 years in his job in Canada. And then he was seeking different employment in the States. So myself and my mom and I moved over to the States. And I've lived there ever since. So now I have spent more than half my life over here. Despite the fact that I don't think that I want to stay and live the rest of my life and retire in New York per se, I have been in the United States for about 20 years at this point. Not in New York the whole time, but in the US. So when I go back to Canada, as much as I like it when I go back, it still feels like a different, kind of like a culture shock in a way. Happy birthday, Mark. Thank you, Gail. Have you ever visited Africa? I have not. The last time I was in Africa, I was too young to even remember. But I would like to go back. I'm hoping that within the next few years, I'm hoping that within the next 2 years, as a matter of fact, that things can line up for me to be able to travel. The thing is, traveling is hard because of work responsibilities. And I hope to one day be able to live a life where I have the luxury of time and ability to go places where I know that all my bills are covered and I have the opportunity to take breaks and enjoy my life. And I definitely want to go to Ghana, which I was only there when I was little. And Guyana, which I have never been. I've never been to Guyana, which is where my mom is from. I think that having so many different cultural experiences is the reason why I tend to view things very differently from others, because I tend to just feel like people are people. And sometimes there are instances where I could probably be harsher on people, but I don't know. I've seen so many different things from so many different people that I'm just not that way. Appreciate it, Danny. My ex is Nigerian. I just held back so many comments. We have a rivalry. Ghana and Nigeria have a rivalry, but actually I have like a couple people that follow me on my page from Nigeria who I really like. So it's kind of folklore. It's kind of folklore. I think that you probably mentioned that before, because I had spoken about jollof rice. Well, oh, that's a good question. A city dweller or a country dweller in your heart? Country dweller, because that's where I grew up. If you saw the area that I grew up in, nothing was there. It was just land and farmland, and you had to go for miles to find any kind of entertainment or recreation, but I never felt like I was bored. I thought that was normal because that's where I grew up. When I moved to New York, it was so overwhelming that for the first maybe year that I was there, I did not want to leave my house because I was not used to people always being there. I wasn't used to every piece of land being filled with some kind of building. I wasn't used to all of the wires and the commotion and the lights and the fact that the city that never sleeps, that's not a lie. Nobody sleeps. The constant noise and all that, it was so hard for me to adjust moving here. And even though I have adjusted, it doesn't mean that this is where I'm at my most comfortable. When people see me take vacations, they're always like, oh, what are you doing in North Carolina? Oh, what is there to do in Palm Beach, Florida? Oh, what's happening in such and such place? And I'm like, well, I always have the noise here. I always have the things to do. There's never a lack of things to do. It could be 11 p.m. on a Sunday night. There's still something to do in New York. So definitely country. For me, that will always be Ghanaian jollof rice. One sibling, one sister who was in my video. My old nickname was Mountain Mama. Oh, so you like, whenever they show those things on Facebook where they say, would you live in this like mountain resort for $10 million that has no access to the internet and phone, whatever? I'm like, that's a no-brainer for me. I don't really know my ideal place just yet, but something probably in the middle of city living and where I grew up, because I went back to the area that I grew up in a few months ago, and I was going through that area and I'm like, this is boring. There's literally nothing here. So I would need something that is a nice in the middle, where there's not people and noise all the time, but there's availability for me to find things to do when I want to do things. Ideally. Hi, Deborah. I finally made a live new sub here. Thanks for the sub. Let me know where you're from and how/when you found my page. And everyone give Deborah a wave in the chat. Good afternoon, Ed. Afternoon, where are you at? What time is it? It's 5:17. Are you in a different time zone than me? My biggest dream is, I keep saying this on here because I just believe in speaking this into existence. But okay, Danny, what is my biggest dream? Okay, so my biggest dream is to be able to do something purposeful with my life that will also allow me to pay my bills and be comfortable and really not have to wake up with a sense of dread and not having enough time. Hello, Deborah Randall. What got you interested in helping people with mental wellness? By the way, if I have any mods in here, which I do, y'all can take care of that. Y'all can take care of Danny's comment. What got you interested in helping people with their mental wellness? So I got interested in helping people with my mental wellness, with their mental wellness, for similar reasons that most social workers get into that, which is that they have their own problems that lead them into doing studies. And that's what happened for me. For me, I became interested in it when I got my own diagnosis: anxiety disorder, depression, panic disorder, and agoraphobia. And I remember I was seeking out help, and it was very hard at that time to find help and to find support. So once I got better and once I went through therapy and everything, I was like, I want to do something to give other people hope who have been in that position. And I didn't quite want to do a master's degree in social work or anything like that. I already finished school. I went to school for business. So I found out about this thing called peer counseling, and I've been doing it ever since. If you want to know more about that, you can ask further questions. My childhood nickname is Pooh Like Jared. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Welcome. Let's see. Why is this not letting me scroll down? Okay, here we go. That was normal for me, barefoot and running free. Hey, Deborah, welcome to the gang. Welcome to the gang, Deborah. Is today your actual birthday? My birthday is actually tomorrow. My birthday is actually tomorrow. But I knew that I don't know if tomorrow I would necessarily have the time to sit down and do this. So did it today. What are your thoughts on what in the world? We got some weird questions in here today. I accidentally put that back up. If y'all see any of these questions, feel free to remove them. By the way, I found your channel about a week ago. I really enjoyed watching and listening to your views. Thank you. Okay. I need a shirt. A shirt like that. My nickname is, how do you say that? DZD. Happy birthday. Have a blessed day. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you, Bright Blue. Hold on a minute. Okay. I didn't know that I was gonna have to have a block party today, but apparently, I love blocking people. So thank y'all who are leaving those comments because I like block parties. Welcome, but not welcome because you won't be able to post here again. What do you like most about your job? Huh? I'll say what I like most about my career because that's the way that I can answer this in a positive way. What I like the most about my career choice is just the fact that I find fulfillment in the fact that feeling like the struggles that I have gone through have had some kind of purpose, because sometimes people will bring problems to my door where they're like, I'm experiencing this and this, but nobody understands. I'm going through this thing and nobody gets it. And then I sit here and I'm like, I remember experiencing that exact thing or something similar to that. And now I feel like there's a purpose in the pain that I went through. So that's the most enjoyable thing, is that it gives me some sense of fulfillment. Now, I only need to figure out a way to do this on my own. I don't like jobs. And in an ideal world, I would not have a job. I would just have a passion that I work on every day that makes me happy. Thank you, Kendra. And it's weird that all the trolls put the same comment. I'm like, is this an automated thing or what? I just heard, when I heard Jared say his nickname was Pooh, I was like, no, that's mine. Have fun as the city drains. It's nice out today. And there's so much traffic outside, probably because we haven't seen the sun in a week. So it's not even fun being outside unless you're not using a car. The paycheck, that's a good answer. That is, if this is a Family Feud question, that would be the number one answer. Sounds like that doesn't help. There's a D and a Z. That's what's throwing me off. Z-die? Z-die? I don't know. I don't know if that's what you're trying to say. Hi, D. My ideal lifestyle. That is a loaded question. New York is flooding. You and yours okay? Yes. I'm not in an area that really tends to flood. I do see the videos in the Bronx. But yeah, Queens. I'm in Queens and we don't really get flooding like that, or at least the area of Queens I'm in. I'm sure some parts of Queens do. To go back to that question of ideal lifestyle, I just don't work well with lifestyles that are structured and designed by somebody else. I don't like lives that are structured and designed by somebody else. Whatever it is in life, I would love to just do the things that I enjoy doing on my own time. And I know that that's something that everybody says in a sense, but some people just say that. And other people, I think like me, I have a burning desire to be able to create that lifestyle for myself. It's not really a lifestyle for me in terms of I have to have this size of house and I have to have this many cars and this type of car and I have to have this or that item. It's just a matter of just happiness and fulfillment. That's all. That's it. And that's all. Yes, I am a cat person. Happy, blessed, and safe birthday, Mark. Thank you, Eddie. Yeah, so in terms of other places that I've lived, like I said, I grew up in Canada. The first place I moved here in the US was Massachusetts. Let me see. Would you play Big Brother if you were given the chance? So when people were first asking me that last year, it was my first time plugging into the Big Brother social media in terms of looking at Twitter, Reddit, and Facebook groups, YouTube, and everything like that. And at that point in time, I was like, yeah, maybe I would do Big Brother. But then after I saw what the general social media presence was like on Big Brother, I was like, ain't no way. But in some hypothetical fairy tale land where I ended up playing Big Brother, I made a post about this the other day. How would I do though? I tend to think that I would be the most ideal type of floater because I wouldn't be a Bowie floater who just is comfortable being in the room. I'd be the type of floater who people just don't think is dangerous because I wouldn't be acting aggressively and saying, I need to get out this one. This is my target list, blah, blah, blah. I would be a part of the discussions, but I would never be the one like, these are the shots that I'm gonna take. I'd be attempting to play an Xavier type of game. We're in the place that I lived in was called South Lancaster, Massachusetts. And I know that a lot of people won't know that because it's a small town, but towns around there were Clinton, Massachusetts, Worcester, Massachusetts, Marlborough. People know those areas. I was about an hour from Boston. If not BB, is there a game you would play? I applied for the Circle, but obviously the Circle is filming, so I'm not on there. Back in the day, I applied for the Challenge. That was the one show that I really, really wanted to be on. In terms of shows that are on now, I'd probably do something like The Amazing Race. I was thinking of Survivor, but no, I don't think I'd be able to do Survivor. In theory, I feel like I could do Survivor, but in practice, probably not. Oh, I actually went to a gym that was in Northborough. I lived in Hudson for a time, and I went to a gym that was in Northborough called I think it's called Boost Fitness. And it was a 24-hour gym. I heard it's closed now, but it was cool because it was pretty new to the area and it was 24 hours. And I would get off work late and I would go in there at 11 o'clock at night. Nobody was in there. You could just use your gym card to open it up. And I could put the TV on whatever I want, put up the whole volume, or I could plug in my phone at the time when you were able to do that, plug in my aux cord into the phone and just blare whatever music that I had on the whole speaker system. And I loved going to the gym at that time. Thanks, Ebony. By the way, y'all, like I said, I'm doing this for an hour. I'm like 35 minutes in, but I will be back here after the Big Brother episode, just to let y'all know. I'll be back here after that episode airs tonight for a recap. I could see you on the Circle. Yeah, because on the Circle, I wouldn't have to deal with other people. I have my own bathroom. I have my own oven and stove. I could work out by myself. A game where I could just talk to the whatever production that puts in the chat stuff, and I could talk to people via online or whatever, the chat that they use. instead of actually having to have people in my space, I think I would excel at the circle. My question would be, would I want to be myself or would I want to be somebody else? This might sound funny to y'all because I have thought of this before, and I actually had to answer this as one of the application questions for the circle. I almost feel like people would not believe my profile if I put myself in there and acted like myself. I think people would think that I'm fake because they would be like, oh, he's athletic, he's a counselor, he plays different instruments, you know, he's a nice guy, he's empathetic. This is not his profile. This has got to be somebody else's profile because I just do too many things and I fit in too many different categories that people would think that I'm fake. So I would probably try to think of somebody else, or I'd pick somebody who is in one of those lanes. I don't know. I haven't really seen anyone on the circle that's a counselor. Maybe I would just stick with that. I might be myself, but I wouldn't speak about everything. I would just stick to one or two categories. Oh, that was the next question. I'd love to go on the challenge, but I need to train more. I'm currently built like Alyssa L. The thing that gets me about the challenge is the swimming and the heights over water. That's what would disqualify me from this current era of the challenge. The way the challenge was back in the day when it was first getting popular with Johnny and Wes and CT, that challenge I could do no problem. Today's challenge, it's a different thing, totally different thing. Hey, Jate. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Around what time will you be back on? Right after the show. So if the show ends up going from 10 to 11 p.m. Eastern as scheduled, then I'll be on at 11. If it gets delayed by the football, then I'll come on whatever time that ends. Thank you. Yes, keep trying for the circle. You can be yourself. You so smooth. Be yourself, bro. Thank you. Appreciate that, MC. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, I can't swim. How I forget. TJ would remind you. TJ Lavin would remind you. I need some more questions, y'all. Throw in some questions. I want to live off the grid. All your questions are actually not mostly related to show stuff. I mean, you can ask me show stuff, that's fine, but if I was younger I would, but I'm disabled with other health issues. If you were younger you would live off the grid, you mean? Okay, thanks. If you go in the circle, I'm watching you all the way. Shoot, I interviewed Sam, I interviewed Chaz, and I interviewed Shuby. So I got hella game from all three of them. I would probably know more about the circle than the average person because they all talked to me about things that were not seen on the show. Not necessarily in the interview, but within my conversations with them. Allegedly, I might know some strategy. Unfortunately, MC, I won't answer everything on here, but you can ask anything. Yes. My sister is the oldest. I have one sister, and she's the oldest. She's 6 years older than me. And I will be seeing her in a few weeks, actually, because her birthday is in October. We're both born in October. I was actually born late, and she was born early, so we both ended up in October. Maybe that was the plan. I don't think I do good on the circle because I'm not good at text talk. I might not be, but I feel like if I got drafted for the circle, listen, if I get called for the circle, I'm hitting up Sam and I'm like, yo, Sam, I need the rundown. Give me the whole strategy and let's map out a game plan. And if I win, I'll break you off 10K or something. Who would you love to interview? Who would I love to interview? So if we're talking about from these TV shows, these reality TV shows, CT, let me see, Dan Giesling, Tiffany. Tiffany is somebody that I should reach out to. I met Tiffany. Who else? Most of the people are challenge people, honestly. I'd want to interview probably Jordan. I'd want to interview Leroy. If it was Big Brother people, who else on Big Brother? I hope this year I get to interview Mimi, as you guys know. Blue. I hope that I get to interview Izzy. Thanks, Trisha. Will they use you because you're type of YouTube celebrity, the circle, I mean? Well, the thing with the circle, as an example, I think Sam said she was a recruit to the circle. So she didn't even know the show, what the show was when they asked her to be on it. But she had at the time, I think 600,000 or 700,000 TikTok followers. So yeah, I don't have the amount of followers for them to just look at my page, because something that they look at is the amount of fans or subscribers to your social media, and mine wouldn't even move the needle at this point in time. So it is what it is. I would just have to give an amazing interview to get cast on the circle. I think I had to fill out a form and then I had to do a video. Legitimately though, Chaz and Shubi actually gave me advice because I told them. I think I mentioned it to Sam, but I don't think that I asked her for advice on how to get on. But I think that I asked Shubi and Chaz. Don't forget to like, thanks. Red, face red, heart shape. Happy early birthday, Mark. You're funny, MC. I don't like to talk about anyone else on the page. I mean, I generally speak about, family. Obviously, I never even expected to put my dad on the page so much. It's just that there was no way for me to even do my page without talking about that because of how active it was. But the internet is not always a safe place. By the way, Mark, do you think you'll ever do an RV traveling trip one day for vacation? That would be cool as long as I'm not the one driving the RV. If I was just in the RV and I wasn't the driver, sure. But me just renting an RV or something and doing that by myself, no way. CT is a great choice. And I also met CT. CT was very nice in person. If Mimi wins HOH, who would you like her to nominate? Wait a minute. If Mimi wins HOH, who would you like her to nominate? I wasn't going to throw a Mimi meme in here, but since you kind of opened the door for me to do that.
Okay. Well, guess what? If I win, somebody ain't Diddy bopping.
Right. Okay.
I can tell you that. If I win, one of them won't be Diddy bopping.
I just like throwing those in there. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. Who would I like her to put up, though? I don't know. It depends on who's still there. Like, if it was the people that are all in the house right now and she was the HOH, I would want her to do some huge move and put up Corey and Cam. If, let's say, Corey's not in the house next week and she has the same choice, I would want her to put up Cam and America, or like Cam and Jag. I have definitely seen the cast photos and the teaser trailer. It looks like it's going to be really good. It seems you root for reality show heroes instead of villains. Do you have a favorite villain? I wouldn't say that I root for reality TV heroes, because I wouldn't call Wes a hero. I wouldn't call CT a hero. I wouldn't call I wouldn't really say most of the people that I root for on the shows are heroes. Sometimes I have rooted for fan favorites, like Taylor. Taylor was a fan favorite. I rooted for her. Villains. You know, when they did that Joker movie, I forget which one that it was, but it was one of the more recent Joker movies, and I was like, I'm kind of liking this guy more than the Heath Ledger version. Who else? I'd have to think about that a little bit. But I actually like, out of superheroes, I actually like Batman quite a bit, because I like the fact that he has a different moral code. He's not like the moral police, like Superman, for an example. Dream vacation destination. I would like to go to Hawaii. I've never been there. I would like to go to Las Vegas. I've never been there either. Hi, Jazz Lady. Thank you. Juby from the circle had no experience of social media, remember? Yep. I think that he was probably surprised to get on there. Matter of fact, I interviewed him. I see, Mark. Thank you. Would you apply for Big Brother next year or ever? No. Oh, man. It seems like most reality show recruit social media. They do. That's very true. That's very true. It's so rare that you will just see the average Joe. Like Red was already a social media personality. Blue was already somewhat of a social media personality. Obviously, Sari had a background from other shows. Bowie was pretty popular in Australia. You know, most people who come on these shows have some kind of thing going for them, or they meet a very specific criteria. I haven't watched The Circle since the season with Lance Bass. You need to get on season 5, Deborah, and then once you watch season 5, watch my interview. You will love it. Not enough people have seen that interview. Because when people see the interview, they give me really good feedback for it. But yeah, a lot of people have not seen it. Mimi is going to put an end to the Diddy bopping. I think it was an awesome connection with your father. My dad was not a nice person. We just couldn't connect. He was a mean person. Sorry to hear that. I type slow. Sorry about that. Favorite music is R&B. For some reason, I have a feeling Cam is going to put up Corey. Well, he strongly wants to put up Corey. He's been talking about that nonstop since yesterday. So this is his goal, is to get Corey on that block. His only thing that's stopping him from that is Jag. He wants Jag to agree before he does it. On a Mimi scale, what are your B-Day plans looking like? Well, let's go to the Mimi scale. As of right now, that's what the birthday plans are looking like. Sleeping. I don't know. I'll find something to do, but I don't have anything as of now planned to do. I hope so, Deborah. Me too, because he's so smug. He's so smug right now. Okay, we'll do. I think the swimming issue would also hamper me. I think everything else on Survivor I could probably do, except for the challenges that involve the water and swimming. So that would be my main thing. I think I could survive being hungry. I mentioned this before, but I had a teacher when I was in my senior year of high school who had us do something that was literally like Survivor. And I had never watched Survivor at that point in time of my life, so I didn't realize that this guy was some kind of Survivor super fan already in 2005 when I was a senior in high school. So he had us go out there in the wilderness. We were not allowed to, we had to like bathe in the river. We got flint to make the fire. We didn't get to sleep in tents. We would play games for supplies. I'm like, what? Now that I think back to it, I'm like, what was this guy on? Like, we shouldn't have been having to do that at 17, 18. Come on. What? No Diddy bopping? No Diddy bopping. No Diddy bopping. Because if I win...
Okay. Well, guess what? If I win, somebody ain't Diddy bopping.
Right. Okay.
I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
If I win, one of them won't be Diddy bopping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about if you apply and get on Big Brother, I will watch you. I will post you on my page. This is the Andrew on Big Brother, our very own. Do you see Corey's Lunchable date with United States? United States. I did not. I cringe every time I see Corey in America, to be honest with y'all. Andrew, go for it. I believe that people should always go after what they want. How dare they Diddy bop? You think so? We'll support you, Andrew. I couldn't let it slide, MC. Hannah should never have been cast on this season. I think you're talking about Survivor. I don't know who's vetting those. I was so mad that she quit on day one, and she's talking about I'm leaving because I'm hungry. I'm hungry, so I want to leave. If y'all don't vote me out, I'm going to leave. You're right, Deborah. For some people, getting on that show is a dream come true. Some people have been applying for years and they never get it, or they get it on their 5th, 6th, 10th try. And you get the opportunity of a lifetime and you're willing to just walk away? Come on. I only learned what Diddy bopping is because Matt and Jag were doing it in the house. Let me see if I can find a video. Matt. Did you ever see that dance that they were doing the first few weeks? Yeah, I can't find it. But you ever saw that dance they were doing? I don't know, with the feet and the arms and stuff? That's Diddy bopping. I can't do it, obviously. That little thing that they do where it's like they're dancing with their feet and shuffling and moving their arms. They were the ones who made me realize what Diddy bopping was. It's probably all over TikTok, I'm sure. I want to see you on BB. No. And I desperately want you to interview Queen Mimi. I desperately want to interview her also. Yes, we'll be here to support you. So you got all the vote of confidence, Andrew. Get it done. Oh my God, that's crazy. That teacher was living out his own fantasies. I know. You're young enough to be my son. My 2 sons would enjoy your videos. Well, recommend them on over, Betty. I heard she needed to smoke. Oh, and they're not allowed to smoke over there? Because, yeah, that would be hard. She thought they get delivered gourmet rice from Instacart. Does Cam really need Jag's vote? No. In terms of numbers wise, we were talking about this on my feed yesterday. No, Cam does not need Jag's vote numbers wise. Because if you think about it, Mimi and Felicia would obviously, Sari and Felicia would obviously vote for Mimi to stay. If Matt votes for Mimi to stay, that's 3. And obviously Blue would vote for Mimi to stay. That's 4. So he can have 4 votes without Jag's blessing. And he could get a 5th vote with Bowie. And even if he doesn't get Matt's vote, he could definitely get Bowie's vote, because I cannot see Bowie going against Cam, who she's been kind of, close to this whole time, in favor of working with Jag and Matt. And that's who she was, for context, Ebony, that's who she was referring to when she said, somebody won't be Diddy bopping. She was saying that if she wins, she's going to take a shot at Jag and Matt. I wish that TJ hosted that particular episode. Oh, really? She was addicted to tobacco. Yes, it is a real dance. I hope you enjoy your birthday and have a lot of fun. Appreciate that. I'm glad all the people that were asking me if I would eat my own feces are not on this post anymore. That was weird. Share, share, share. Is there a certain deadline to apply since the season is still going on? Just keep checking. I heard there might be a winter season, so just keep checking. That was crazy. Just used up a space to say she was on the show and was not memorable in any way. He's got the votes for... Yeah, he's got the votes. The only reason that he's not pulling the trigger right now is just because he wants to have Matt and Jag on his side for next week. That's what it is. Yes, they were, Sarah. You missed the beginning of this. There was at least 3 or 4. You won't see them on this channel again, but they got in their questions. And they started it with happy birthday, too. That was the thing. They actually put happy birthday and then typed that in. I know. See you later. Hope to see you never. It was a good episode up to that point. Now I have to suffer through another week of Emily because I wanted to see Emily go and curse them out on her way out and not be on the show. But Cam is a target either way. I know, right? I feel the same way. You shouldn't really even care because at this point in time, I don't think Jag and Matt would protect him either. Jag and Matt are worried about Jag and Matt. Guessing you'll cover a winter season. That I can't say with certainty. because the Big Brother season is a big commitment. So this is another thing I'm going to say. This is a birthday video, so it's a little bit different than my regular ones. Rob has a podcast who I consider probably the most successful page when it comes to reality TV coverage. I'm not sure what else he does to make an income, but I know that covering Big Brother and covering Survivor and covering Amazing Race and all these different shows makes him a significant income. I know that he works with CBS and he works with all these different networks. They're connected with him in that way, and he gets the benefit of that. My channel, as of now, the views, like you've seen that my views have gone way up from the beginning of the season until now. My videos were getting 30, 40 views. Now they're getting 300, 400, 500, 1,000. They get like $1 something per 1,000 views. So if I have a 1,000 view video, it's like $1 and something that it gets me in the advertisements and the clicks. A super chat like what MC gave me earlier would probably equal about 20 of me doing these lives. So if it was something where it was making me something significant, I would say yes. If they went right into a next season of Big Brother, I would go right into my next season of covering Big Brother, because then I would consider it like a job. Not a formal job, obviously, but a job of some sorts. Because the time that I'm spending in it gives me like some kind of significant profit or something. But as of now, with the way that it stands now and, you know, the amounts that I make on the page now, I couldn't see myself just jumping into a next season after this, because it's very time consuming. I think I'd probably take a break. I'd probably watch it, but I think I'd probably take a little break, or even if I did cover it, my everyday goal that I have of this season, that would not be my goal. I would say probably once a week, maybe twice a week. She did. It was quite noticeable too. I always thought the goal was to bust up couples. On what? On Survivor you're talking about, Deborah? Cam needs to do what's best for his game, and it's not Jag and Matt. No. The Matt and Sari coupling is so cute. Matt really trusts her. Does he? We're back to that? I mean, I know he trusts her, but is he back to working with her on a game level? I do not like Emily at all. I think she just wanted to be chaos, Cass. I trust Sari, and I know she'll cut me in a heartbeat. We're the for real chat room. For real. As long as y'all aren't Legend 25 or the Professors, because I don't trust neither of those, or whatever the first 8 was called, basically any of the alliances. If you can't do winter, I'll send you what's going on. I appreciate that. Oh, well, it didn't work. Not is a question. It's showing on my end, and it's saying only one person. Maybe it's over. No, it's not. Oh, Big Brother? Yeah, I know. So how are they letting Corey and America sit here so close to jury and act like that's not a troublesome thing? I don't get it, Deborah. I'd be looking at them right away, and I'd be looking at Corey especially. Is that missed? Just recently saw a new Izzy interview, and she said she's so mad about the game and Cam still being in the house. I'm sure she would be. Izzy is back in New York. I'm gonna try to reach out to Izzy. Who knows? But I did want to mention, I mentioned Rob has a podcast for a reason. Y'all always mention Rob has a podcast. I'm gonna meet Rob Tuesday at an event that he's having here. So I saw the event, and at first I was like, but then I realized this is Rob's event. And, if I get a chance to meet him, I'm not even going to be there on some, hey, I'm your fan. I'm going to be there asking him, A, can I get on your podcast, even as a guest or something? And B, can you give me tips as a podcaster from how to start from where I am to get to where you are? Because I tend to go to these events for business purposes. I'm a fan still. I'm definitely a fan of all these different people. Like, I wouldn't be able to just watch these shows just to make money, because then it would really just be a job. But I'm always thinking twofold. I'm like, yes, I want to meet them. Yes, I want to tell them I enjoyed this or that about you on the show. But then I'm like, next, can you assist me by jumping on my channel or helping me promote? Izzy, go for it, Mark. Wasn't a fan of Izzy. I wasn't a big fan of Izzy's gameplay, though, but she was entertaining. I would tell her that her gameplay, I don't know, but I don't dislike her. She was very entertaining. I know, right, Sarah? I can see the walk right now with his robe and his hat and his sunglasses. He is so comfortable. Like, I own that house. No, Rob from Rob Has a Podcast. Oh, is that who everyone refers to as Boston Rob? That's cool, Mark. I will be watching. Please reach out to Izzy. She seems ready to talk about Big Brother and her thoughts. I haven't watched Rob Has a Podcast because I'm busy keeping up with your updates. And I haven't watched basically almost anything because of my page. Last year, before I started covering this, I used to watch like 4 to 5 podcasts every week from different channels. This season, I might catch one, because if you see, I'm on here like 2 to 3 hours a day. So when would I have time to really watch other people's podcasts? I wonder if Tehran would be there too. Maybe start with the ladder to Rob. Happy birthday in 6 hours. Appreciate it. I like how somebody went out too soon. That's smart. Go to Rob's event and promote your talent. No, I'm just dumb. I walked away and came back and heard Rob. I thought so. I was like, wait. I didn't see that season, but Boston Rob is on some show on CBS fixing up houses. Okay, so I think we've ended the birthday questions pretty much. So I have a few things. Since I'm already on here, I do have a few things to say about the Big Brother that I saw prior to hopping on here. I saw Corey and Jag sitting in the hammock, and Corey was talking about the order of which he wants to get out the threats in the upcoming weeks. He was like, do we want to just go big and go for Cam? Do we want to put Blue and Mimi up there next to each other? Do we want this and this and this and this? And then he's telling him, Cam definitely sees me as a threat in terms of mental comps, but I think between my threat level and you and Matt's threat level, I think that he believes that you and Matt are bigger threats to him because of the fact that you can win comps. And he's like, I don't know if a final 3 was dangled around with you and Matt, but he alluded to that with me and America. This whole time, Jag is like, yeah, that's interesting. So then Corey asks him, can you commit to me and you committing that we are going to vote out Jag next week? I mean, vote out Cameron next week. I'm sorry. And then Jag says, well, there's still veto talks to be had before we even get to that point, which was Jag's way of saying, we still might vote you out. So I don't want to commit to that. And the reason I'm even bringing this whole thing up is because Jag spent all this time for like 2 weeks talking about how Sari is a snake and Sari is this and that. She's a liar. She's in good with everybody, blah, blah, blah. He was only saying that because he was on the outs of all those discussions. And obviously he got voted out. Now that he's had the opportunity to have people have him on the inner parts of these discussions and he's not on the block, he's doing the same thing. So that's why he's living, to me, on Hypocrisy Hill, as Sari called it. He's on the top of that hill. He said he wasn't going to make it to New York. Oh, he's not going to be there. Okay. Why is everyone so freely sharing their boot order with everyone this season? I know. This is not Big Brother. I mean, this is not how Big Brother is supposed to be, where you're giving out lists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, y'all could have asked as many personal questions as you want. You decided to ask one question in 10 ways, but I was surprised not to get any others. Jag is such a horrible player and gets on my nerves. Have a great evening, and I'll see you back on the after the show. Nice, quiet, and chill stream. Sari saved his butt with Matt's pass. He did. You're so right, because he see how they got through the game so far, and he wanted to try it. The list thing by Cam is stupid. Corey has a list. Cam has a list. Corey has a they're all given these lists. Okay, who are the next 5 people you want out? All right, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. This group does not know how to hold information and give you a little bit at a time. You tell it like it is about Jag. I know, MC. I feel like you asked me the same question last year. I also want to know why the house guests this year are obsessed with bitter jurors. How can they be? They feel like this is a crazy thing, Sarah. I put this on a YouTube short. Cameron is more worried about somebody voting against him in jury than he is worried about somebody who can win comps trying to get him out before jury. And I'm like, I think my bigger concern would be getting there. He's trying to get around jury management, basically. Like, I'm just gonna get out the people who I know would vote against me before we even get to jury. Corey was saying it earlier, there's multiple ways to win Big Brother. Cam's way could possibly win him Big Brother this year, but that's only because they're not playing good Big Brother games, in my opinion. I'm not understanding why they're sharing their hit list. Me neither. Now it'd be a good place to drop Mimi mean about her sanity. Say no more. Mimi is on the way.
I'm just like, these people are, I don't know if they're sane or if I'm sane. Like, I could be the crazy one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I agree about Jag. Corey ain't gonna be here. Gotta go later, all. Later, Betty. Thanks for joining. So you left off at boarding school. I really did. I really did leave off at boarding school. After boarding school, I came back to, I moved to Massachusetts. I went to school there for 2 years in high school, graduated from a high school in Massachusetts. And then I did 1 year of college there. I moved to Michigan. I spent 4 years in Michigan. I got my bachelor's in business administration. I had a mental health breakdown a couple years after I graduated. I didn't work for like 2 years. And then I didn't think I was going to work again. I got back into the workforce as a peer counselor. With all the different things that I have been through and all the different things that I learned from that process of recovery for myself. And then I've been working for the last, 8 years as a peer counselor. I know that's a very abbreviated version, but one of these days I hope to have a book. One of these days I hope to have a documentary. All of that, where I can explain details about my life. If it interests you guys, though, I can talk about this any day. You may as well go for it and take out dude. These alliances are going to crumble. Cam needs to worry about jury management and not painting a target. Yeah, he doesn't care. He's like, let me just take out the jury. You can't escape jury management. Cam is great at cops, but his social game is meh. Dr. Will won season 2 off of great social game alone. He had charisma charm. Yes, don't forget before you leave. Thumbs up. Come back before the show to leave a comment. Tell a friend to come and watch the telephone. Thanks. Is that a phrase? Watch the telephone? I'm confused, Dite. Cam knows he's going to be a bitter juror. Projection much. How many instruments do I play? The piano, the saxophone, the ukulele. I can play a little bit of the drums and the trumpet. So 3 that I would say that I play pretty well, and 2 that I know how to play. So 5 is my answer. Dude was a master manipulator, never had power, but was running things. Incredible. I'm also impressed with Derek's game from season 16. He never had power either. Thank you, Gina. Yes, that is why Dr. Will Kirby will always be my #1 Big Brother player. I'm a Dan Giesling guy myself. I like Dr. Will too, though, but my favorite will always be Dan Giesling. Not telephone, tell a friend to tell a friend to come back and watch and like and come and subscribe. If you can play piano, can you play any keyboard instrument, organ? I can play the organ a little bit. I'm not that solid with the organ, but I can play it. I have played it before. Dr. Will was the ultimate puppet master. God is so good, Mark. You are so blessed. You are highly favored by God. Thank you. Let me see if I can show y'all this photo. Well, I might post it on my community thing, but it was this photo that I really loved from the ones that I took today. wearing my dad's outfits. Let me see if this shows up here. It doesn't seem to want to focus. I'll post it on my community page. Let me try that again. Yeah, you can't see it too good, but this is in one of my dad's African outfits, and we were outside this place called the Africa Center under the Ghanaian flag. It's a cool picture. You'll think it's cool when you see it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I actually had more people on this birthday one than my last birthday one, believe it or not, even though it was probably about 30 at its peak, but it was still more than last year. Last year, I might have had 15 to 20. That was also after the Big Brother season had ended. So I know that was a contributing factor. But the thing that I love more about this year than last year is because people follow me for more things than just the Big Brother. And last year, I was boosted a lot by the fact that I was showing the live feeds. And some people would come in the comments and let me know, we don't want you to talk. We're just here for the feeds. And I don't show the feeds anymore, and people are still here. So this group that I have built, the foundational group, and the ones that I'm building around the foundation, appreciation for all of you. And thanks for all the birthday wishes. And I'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back in action tonight after the Big Brother episode, which is going to show the Power Veto comp. Is it? Oh, it's going to show the HOH comp. Never mind. It's going to show the HOH comp tonight. And we're going to talk about it. And I will be on my birthday in the morning. I'm going to be on my birthday probably, well, it doesn't have to be 8 in the morning because I'm not working tomorrow, but it could be. It could end up being an early one. Look out for it early. I might do an 8 o'clock a.m. live tomorrow morning because I don't know if I'll be on at night. And Tuesday, I definitely won't be on at night because Tuesday is going to be the Rob Has a Podcast event that I'm going to be going to. So I'm only going to be able to do the morning. And yeah, that's that. Thank you for your transparency. Have a blessed BD. You're welcome. You're a blessed person. I appreciate you sharing your information. And I want to get into more of talking about mental health. I know that I kind of said that as a footnote, but that's my passion. I know I quickly went through that because I got back into the Big Brother stuff, but mental health, that's my passion. Thank you, Cass, and thanks for bringing the laughs as usual. See you later. After the show is an after party. Don't forget, tell your friends to come back with you. Like, comment, subscribe. Yes. Okay, y'all. So we will talk later. Have an amazing evening.